Welcome to beautiful Flagstaff, Arizona, for continuing coverage of the 2023 PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships. A PDGA Major featuring nearly 900 players across many divisions. Today, we're with the MP40 division. I'm Grant Zellner, and I am with the philosopher of disc golf, Philo Brathwaite. Philo, we head to Thorpe Park for day two action.
Thank you so much, Mr. Grant Zellner. Yes, sir, Thorpe. Very classic Flagstaff, Arizona disc golf course. I'm sure probably one of the more played in the area. So much fun. Very similar to what you saw at Little America as far as kind of a wooded, parky kind of vibe. You know, it's pretty fun, man. It's a lot of fun shot shaping out there.
Straight into hole number one, a 600-foot par 4. Pretty flat in this instance. A lot of things on the ground too, preventing, say, a roller if somebody wanted to go that route. And we're with Steve Rico.
One of SoCal's finest. Steve Rico does well not to catch any early trees. Maybe a little off to the right on this one.
What a treat. We get to watch Michael Johansen.
You are telling me it's been a long time since we've seen Michael Joe on film, at least from my perspective. Don't see him much on the Disc Golf Pro Tour anymore. Classic disc golfer.
Cale Leiviska now, Mr. Smooth.
Wow, it's a beauty little hyzer to flip there, catching a nice run out, nice glide.
And finally, Dave Feldberg.
Wow, what a shot there from Feldberg, testing that left side. Takes a lot of trust to throw a swing like that out there, Grant.
Michael Johansen with the precision upshot.
Yeah, that's one of those things Michael Joe's known for, especially making putts from about that range right there, shallow circle too.
Cale trying to come in the side door. Not a bad job there, a little long.
A little long, a little wide. Oh, there it is, a little long. Right about circle's edge. Steve Rico's second play.
I don't think he meant to go that wide. And Feldy.
Basic little hyzer approach there from Feldberg. No issue. Well inside circle one.
I will say, Philo, it looks like the rough here at Thorpe might be just a little bit more penalizing than at Little America.
From the looks of things early, yeah, that's for sure. These bushes are a bit bigger, a little taller. Some of this rough little trees off to the side, a little taller. Definitely things out at Little America. The ground cover was pretty nasty with the rocks and everything, but didn't see too many in the way of bushes or shrubs.
Yeah, you weren't going to be obstructed on many putts there. You might have to, straddle out or something like that. But here, in the case of Steve Rico's shot a moment ago, bushes and stuff thick enough, he couldn't see the basket even though he wasn't that far away. So we'll see how that maybe shakes scoring up just a little bit. And just like that, through one. So on to the second. Our first par 3 of the day at 361 feet. Pretty straightforward here.
Yeah, I'd look to see these guys maybe throwing a mid-range. Looks like it's playing downhill substantially, so maybe shouldn't really need a full speed driver, distance driver. Maybe fairway to mid-range. Feldberg control driver looks like here. Wow, beautiful shot there from Feldberg.
Literally into the shadow of the basket. Steve Rico, airborne.
That's the way to really do it, though. Good job, Steve. That's the way I want to do it.
Just like back at Oak Grove, huh, Steve-O? Straight and narrow, no problem.
If you tend to throw just a little bit shorter than most of your card mates at your league, watch Michael Johansen and how he dissects a course despite often not being the furthest thrower on his card.
Yeah, don't be fooled. Michael Joe can put a move on a disc if he needs to.
Oh,
I've
he
seen him out in
certainly
the open
can.
A number of times, but
Yeah.
he's so precise with his speed and angles. Cale Leiviska finding an early tree in the fairway. Going to have to settle for par here with a tight-up shot. Job done there for Mr. Leiviska.
Rico, circle 2 look.
Classic little step through spin putt from Steve Rico, coming up a bit short. Michael Johansen, left side chains, doesn't get it to stick. One of those ranges Michael Joe so well known for capitalizing from. Cale Leiviska backpack on, going to pop that in for a par. Solid play there from Feldberg, quickly getting 2 birdies.
To the third, 350 feet, this par 3, a dog leg, pretty sharp from right to left.
All these guys are righty backhand throwers. That's their dominant swing, so I don't think any of these guys will have a problem with that. It's a matter about picking the right spot out there in front of them to aim for. Feldberg taking this one high.
Way up in the air.
That looks to have been a bit early. Early and left for Feldberg. A little work there for him.
Rico a little lower than Feldy's line.
Looks like that dried up a bit short there for Steve Rico.
And Philo, this strikes me as the kind of hole where people will really see the difference between what discs do at sea level and what discs do at altitude.
True story, man. When you're throwing a hyzer-only type of shot and you're expecting something to kind of catch a glide and all of a sudden it just starts dumping, you're just like, what, huh? How did that happen? Yeah, you've got to have the right kind of disc to play in these environments. Everybody coming up, it seems a bit short here on that turn.
Yeah, you just don't get the lift on the disc. Steve Rico, nice safe up shot there.
Ooh, Michael Joe giving it a good bid, coming up just shy. Wow, what a fantastic run there from Cale Leiviska off the front cage from way out in circle 2, possibly even fairway. Feldberg, can he connect?
I'm pretty sure that putt hit all 3 parts of the basket, band, chain, and basket. It's a lot of metal.
Everything but in. Yeah, everything but in for Leiviska. Feldberg just chips it up there. Kind of a half go, making sure it doesn't run off too far. Seems like this is going to be a star par for the card here on hole 3.
I like what I'm seeing so far here at Thorpe Park.
Practice. It's the difference between good and great. Distractions are obstacles. Eliminate them and see how far you can go.
The fourth, 308 feet. Par 3, again bending from right to left.
Kind of the opposite from what we saw a bunch yesterday in round 1 over at Little America Long. Most of the holes kind of finishing off to the right. Today, kind of favoring the righty backhand play.
And Feldy knew it. Didn't quite make the corner he was going for.
One tree to beat there for Steve Rico, but not the worst reaction there. Kicks him towards the basket. Looking around circle's edge. Michael Johansen on the box.
Viewers, if you struggle with your grip, pay attention for the rest of the broadcast to Michael Johansen's grip when he throws the disc.
What are you seeing there, Grant?
He sort of fan grips everything, but not only that, he puts it out further in his fingers. And there's a video on YouTube where he talks about this. He feels like it gives him a little more of a lever, that last lever in the arm to get some snap on the disc. And
that, we saw Cale Leiviska drop a dime on the basket. Feldberg just laying up. Steve Rico, after the tree kick, putt for birdie. You can count that all day for Mr. Rico. One of the best putters on tour for a number of years.
Getting things dialed in. That's Steve's first birdie of the day. Cale now.
Cale definitely took his time there trying to dial in that putt. See a little bit of breeze blowing. Unable to figure it out. Michael Johansen pop that in there and get his birdie on. Crack the seal there from Michael Johansen. Disappointing par, I'm sure, there for Cale Leiviska. Opportunity, unable to capitalize. Early tree hit for Feldberg took him out of position. He'll scrape up his par and move it on. Hole number 5.
We go over 400 feet for this par 3. Looks like a primary gap that I assume most of our players will be going for off the tee.
That would be the smart thing with all these trees out there. Definitely want to play for that main tunnel to the target. Steve Rico catches a ninja branch, comes straight down. Michael Johansen, so crafty at these types of shots. Looks like he burned that one over just a little bit. Did get a nice little ground play to keep the skip and slide forward.
You can see the basket from there. Dave Feldberg.
A similar reaction there to Michael Johansen. Burned over. Seems that it opens up a little bit down there. Get some ground play.
You see a lot of athleticism in Cale Leiviska's move. You see hints of some of his sports background, both himself and his family. A little baseball in there, a little basketball in there.
Definitely an athlete, Mr. Cale Leiviska.
Plus, he looks like Rob Lowe. I mean, you know, sometimes things aren't fair.
This is true.
Michael Joe, a little fortunate there. Kind of goes through those trees.
I'm sure he had that all part of the equation. Feldberg trying to get sneaky here around the tree.
And there's that rough we were talking about earlier. That's maybe the one obvious feature you don't see at Little America is trees and brush that's low to the ground and thick enough that you absolutely have to go over or around it.
True. Yeah, we did not see any of that really at Little America. Very little of it. Maybe just a couple of baskets that had a decent sized, medium-sized tree right in front, but plenty of space for them to take a knee or straddle or do something to, get the job done. Out here, man, there's so much in the way of obstacles all around these targets.
Hole number 6, marking a third of the way through our loop. A par 4 at 600 feet, a little more open, bending from left to right.
Kind of reminds you of Little America, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It kind of has those feels out there. It kind of goes back and forth to some open shots, to back into some more congested fairways. Steve Rico playing for position. Looks like a nice setup shot there for Mr. Rico.
That is plenty. Philo, I understand the reasons why OB exists, I even understand the reasons why in some cases what a lot of people call fake OB exists, but it is nice to be on some tracks where there's very little true OB.
I would agree with that. That's kind of a frustrating part, I think, on some levels when you're playing, especially a course in the woods, and you know, can't really predict everything that's going to happen if they're just staked up with OB lines. Man, it's just so hard to have a good time on a course like that. I think especially at this stage of the game for these guys playing in the Masters divisions, like, I don't think they really want to contend with all that extra.
Gives you a chance to get creative and recover rather than just
Absolutely.
heading to a drop zone or something. I like seeing it.
Or getting punished, you know? I mean, that's really what it feels like when you throw a shot and kick a tree and go places you don't want to go. And if there's just some arbitrary OB line out there, it's like, this is where your fairway ends. It's kind of, yeah, it's tough to play in those conditions.
Low from Rico, going to have to get fortunate with the ground as inconsistent as it is, and that gets eaten up.
Yeah, it does. I might have lost some plastic off of that disc as chunky as that landing was.
Whew. Michael Joe forces that over just a touch and watches it fade right back toward the basket.
Classic Michael Joe shot there. Nice and touchy.
Feldberg going high again. A little short, little left. It was a little short and left. I saw a dust cloud. That was either Dave's disc or an angry squirrel.
There you go. Bumping right in there for Cale Leiviska.
So for birdie, Rico. Stress-free.
Yep. Gave it a soft bid. Yeah, Feldberg never gave that one a chance.
Surprised he didn't step that.
There's a Michael Johansen putt.
Cale
Another one of those
Leiviska.
guys. Oh, go ahead.
My bad, follow. I was going to mention just real quick. I don't get to observe things this brilliant very often. Cale Leiviska, the only player on the card yet to card a birdie so far today. That's a pretty good chance.
True story. Cale's going to need to get something going. Slightly off the pace. There we go.
There he is. All right, everybody on the card with a birdie, at least one.
You know, I'm not surprised if things start off a little slow. It's, you know, earlier on in the tournament. I'm sure these guys are, I wouldn't say nervous, but they're all kind of feeling each other out and seeing who's got that gear. Eventually somebody's going to get things rolling, and they're going to have to get moving with them.
PDGA Event Support Helpline.
We're trying this cool new thing where we have an alligator pit on the 18th green. It's gonna be epic.
I don't think having literal death putts is a good idea.
Okay, I'll consider it. Oh, no, boy, no!
Hole number 7, the shortest hole thus far today at just 271 feet.
Here you go. Once again, showing you the main vein right down the pipe. Pretty defined, pretty fair. All about those shot shaping skills.
Michael Joe, that will work okay.
Yeah, licking his chops on a shot like that. He makes his money on those shots.
Cale Leiviska equals Michael Joe's effort.
Feldberg sends it a little wider, but he's going to join the crew right out there, circle's edge. And that looked left the whole time there for Steve Rico. Just going to have to pitch this up, take a par.
Once
Job
again,
done there for Rico.
stress-free again. Can't ask for much more than that if you don't hit your line off the tee.
Ooh, solid bid there for Cale. Feldberg. Can he find the touch? A little bit of breeze blowing from his back. Going to need to give it a little air, and that's such a hard thing to do when you're at elevation, Grant. He got that in the air that time. Didn't drop in time for Feldberg, but a fantastic run.
At 271 feet, hole 7 actually playing, I think, a little tougher than I would have expected, playing almost exactly true to par.
I'm surprised as well. I mean, a couple of these guys have a solid sidearm. I know Steve Rico's got a pretty solid sidearm. Kind of surprised to not see him go to that. Definitely shapes up for it. Feldberg now trying to scrape up his par. Or this is for birdie, isn't it? No, that was for par. You're right.
That was for
Philo,
par.
he made that birdie putt, bounced off the top, and now he's going to scrape up for bogey, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The shortest hole on the front 9. That's got to be frustrating for Feldberg.
Cale to clean up. I love the nuances, the little habits that we do when we play. For Cale, it's always picking up the disc or the mini and blowing the dust off of it.
Never really noticed that before. That's a good pickup there.
Well, you'll never not notice it now, and I don't know, maybe I should apologize. To the 8th, 330 feet. It's a par 3. A dog leg, but the turn happens early here, Philo, and then goes straight to the basket from there.
Yeah, you see the undulation in the ground there, things swooping down and away. Got to have a lot of touch to get one close on a hole like this. Michael Joe about pin high, looking a hair short. Is that catching a roll? I think it sat down.
Cale gets that one to stand up. Not an easy thing to do at altitude.
No, that was beautiful.
Steve, just a little bit of a pull again. That seems to be a theme so far today.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, Grant. You can kind of see his body kind of swinging across the tee pad a little viciously on the snap.
And Feldy,
There you go.
very nice. So,
Yeah.
Michael Joe. Boy, they're playing fast, Philo.
Yeah, they are. There's not much deliberation out here on these shots for these guys. They're just kind of running and gunning out here. Scary putt here for Rico. Going to need to use all the touch. Once again, disc just kind of sails away on him.
For birdie, Cale Leiviska.
There it is. That might be the one that gets him going right there, Grant.
Yeah, overcoming that slow start.
It's going to happen for somebody eventually, I have a feeling, throughout this round.
Feldy.
That's a nice bounce back there for Feldberg. Coughs a goofy one up on the last hole, comes back with a strong drive. Pretty much just a routine little birdie putt and warm-up distance. Rico slides home the par. As does Michael Joe.
We close the front 9 with the easiest hole on the course, relative to par, that is. Just 369 feet, a par 4.
Wow, that's a gift.
Cale Leiviska misses his initial line. He'll have to make something up from over there.
Well, you can still make a birdie, I guess. You know, that's the beauty of this hole for these guys. You can make a mistake and still find a way to get a birdie 3. But, man, if you sure do get that pure line, eagle opportunities open up. Definitely in reach for these competitors. Feldberg also pulls one off to the right, grabs a tree, and sits down quickly.
Michael Joe squares a tree up.
All these guys are kind of aiming off to the right. Maybe things open up a bit more than the center line. Steve Rico makes good progress.
Michael Joe knows where the basket is.
That should work for Michael Joe. Little straddle out.
Cale Leiviska, anything you can do, I can do better. Feldberg already airborne. Little short. And Rico, here's a forehand.
Rico and Feldberg come from that class of having a lot of different options: rollers, sidearms, grenades, the backhand game, the putts. It's come from the same cloth in a lot of different ways. I don't think you see Feldberg utilize the sidearm very much, but there's a solid putt for Feldy.
Maybe a chance at a star frame here.
I imagine if Dave was the furthest, we should be looking for this to be a star frame. Everybody else seemed to be right there inside circle one, about 6 paces off the target. Michael Joe looks like he's got that tree obstructing the basket a little bit. Should see a bit of a straddle out. Not an issue for Michael Joe. Slides that one home for a birdie.
Okay, Leiviska, I expect to see him go through his full routine here. And now Steve Rico.
There you go, star frame complete from Steve Rico's putt. Things starting to heat up here on this feature card, lead card here for the second round.
And just that quick, we're already halfway done. Thorpe Park, a little shorter than Little America. A few strokes less to par as well. Players motoring through the course on day number 2. We'll be back with the back nine later on this afternoon. Don't go anywhere.